Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of First Person, sponsored by a new sponsor for this segment. For the 2017-18 school year, we're talking about the Precision Strip Company of Minster, Ohio, with a generations-long record of service to Minster and New Bremen communities and the community of Auglaize County at large. A great place, great group of people there in the community, and I might say a great place to either start or finish your career. They invite the comparison. Check them out in person or online with the address we have here scrolling across the screen. Precision Strip Company, the new sponsors of First Person on PressProsMagazine.com. Every now and then when you do something like this, you have the opportunity of witnessing history firsthand. And we had that opportunity 3 weeks ago when the New Bremen Cardinals won their first ever team state title in OHSAA competition when they won the Division IV girls basketball title at the Nutter Center in Wright State volleyball. Diana Kramer, their coach, is on my right. The athletic director, Gary Jones from New Bremen, is on my left. And you know, we talked about this during the season. You repeatedly told me that if we play our game, if we go in and play aggressively, serve aggressively, defend, do everything that we do, nobody can beat us. And Dizzy Dean once said one time, it ain't bragging if you can do it, and by golly, you proved that. I mean,
that's truly what I believed. You know, last year I felt like we were good enough, they just didn't believe it. So this year I had to tell them so they could actually feel it, so they could hear it, so they could actually believe it. And you know, with their hard work that they put in, they were actually able to go out there and prove their coach right and make this town and community really proud.
And you know, Diana, this goes, it's a cliche on so many occasions when somebody gets to a situation like that and said, well, we didn't play our best. Your girls played their best. They won 6 of the 7 sets they played, 3 of 4 in the semifinals, and then against St. Thomas Aquinas in the finals. I mean, they just came out and took business. No nerves, like they'd been there dozens of times before. That makes you feel pretty good as a coach, too.
It does. I mean, throughout our entire tournament run and season, my philosophy is you need to be aggressive. You know, so we serve aggressive, we attack aggressively, and that's what we did. And when we were struggling at times in tournaments, which we did, every great team has those moments, we just found a way. We kept chugging away. We kept believing in ourselves, believing in our teammates. And, you know, when you do that, your bad times are going to turn into good times eventually if you continue to keep fighting, and that's what we did.
You also said during the season that there's so much more to this team than just Paige Jones, who's an all-state first team.
Right.
Recruit going to the University of Michigan, a phenomenal player, the best I personally witnessed, you know, firsthand. And, you know, your kids came out, Macy Putoff, Julia Gettemiller, and some of the other girls that really contributed so much during the season stood out in that tournament for the way they contributed to that win.
Right. I mean, I could give you every person's, you know, every player's name on my team because everybody had some moment where they stepped up. You know, whether it was this person digging a ball or this person serving an ace, everybody did a little bit of something. You know, Paige obviously has a big role in this team because she touches the ball so much, but you know, her teammates, without her teammates, you can't win a volleyball game by yourself. So her teammates stepped up, they rose to the occasion, and her teammates got a lot better this year. That is the reason we were in the situation we were in this year.
Gary, we talked so many times about the MAC, and we talked about so much during the course of this season about the fact of New Bremen, a long dry spell, but you know, without that first team title. It's particularly special. It is historic, as I mentioned in the open. And for you personally, it has to have a degree of satisfaction because your imprint is on it as the athletic director. It's always great to win the first title, but it's particularly neat when you were the guy with your hand on the stick when it happened.
Well, you know, it is very, it was just fantastic and joyous for all of us. And you know, this league, just the competition is what makes you better. And we've had some good teams in the past, but we just never had the right opportunity, or just wasn't the right time for us to accomplish the goal of the state championship. And now we can finally add our name to the rest of the league. And you know, everybody in the league's won a state championship now, and I don't think there's probably any other league in the state of Ohio that can say that.
It feels particularly good when you were the last guy, you know, to finally join that brotherhood too, because when you talk about St. John's and you talk about Versailles and what they have done, of course, Marion Local in football, St. Henry and multiple sports there. I don't leave anybody out, but my goodness, this Coldwater, for goodness sake. it's nice to finally cash in on that, isn't it?
It is very, yes. Now we can, instead of being that little brother that...
The asterisk.
Yeah, the asterisk. Now we're part of the community, as you said earlier. So it's just a great feeling. It's still, even 3 weeks later, it's still hard to believe, and it's just very exciting and very worthwhile for us.
You mentioned community just a second ago, and I can't tell you how many people who have emailed Press Pros Magazine from the New Bremen community in the last 2 weeks just to express gratitude or a comment or an opinion about something about the season, about the girls, about the tournament, and about what it means to this community of people here. And can you speak to that as the record you have here? You've been here a while.
Yeah, it's been 29 years, or starting the 29th year here, and like I said before, we've been so close so many times, and it was just something that never occurred, and it's frustrating, and it does mentally wear on you not being able to accomplish that goal that everybody else around here makes almost second nature to them. So to finally feel part of that, the community this whole season has just been unbelievable. From the first game of the season where we had a great crowd to what happened at the Nutter Center, which is still the OHSAA is talking about the number of people that we had watching that game. They all had a part. There was a young lady from Aquinas that went up to one of our girls afterwards and said she was intimidated. The crowd intimidated them to start with, and the whole community was a big part of that championship.
It actually gives you goosebumps when you think about how many people from the other schools hung around or came specifically to watch you in your historic moment. People from Versailles, people from Coldwater, people from, even if they weren't playing Minster, they were there to be a part of that, to see it.
And that's so special in this area. Our league, when our teams compete, they compete, and they play hard against each other, and they definitely try to win the game. But once it's over with, we congratulate our opponent, and then we root for them in a tournament if they beat us and knock us out, because that's just the way we're brought up around here.
The one thing you don't want to think about or dwell upon is one and done, and I know you've got a good foundation with people like Macy coming back next year to build around, and for the fact that a championship like this sort of begats success, because now you got 5th and 6th grade girls saying, that's what I want to do when I get there.
Right. I teach in the elementary, so just to see the excitement, not only in the girls, but, also the boys, they're like, Miss Kramer, we can't play volleyball. We're going to do that in football or basketball or baseball or track or, the list goes on and on. But the excitement that this season has brought to the community, to the school, to the elementary students, it's a dream come true. And I wish that, and I hope that every kid can accomplish that goal someday.
I mentioned to Gary about his imprint as administrator, your imprint as a coach. You were the person with your hand on the stick when it happened here for the first time, and I know what that means to you because you're a very emotional person about that.
It means a lot. They've been working hard for this moment well before I was here. This is only my second season, so they put in years and years of work before I even got here. That's credit to the girls, to the parents, to this community, to the coaches before me. I just came in and made a couple tweaks here and there and made the girls believe in themselves. And, they were athletic. They've been, like I said, working hard for this moment for so long, and they deserve it. They have given hope to everybody in the stands, whether it's the grandpa or grandma in the stands, or it's the little boy that's 2 years old that says, Mom, I want to do that someday. Everybody's excited, so it's really, really cool.
And she told me she almost didn't take the job, so you're hoping she comes back. That ought to be an interesting meeting at the end of the school year.
Oh, we already had our meeting, and I'm feeling real good about life right now, so you know what the answer was.
I just said to her, you don't want this to be a once-in-a-lifetime, but you did have that once-in-a-lifetime experience when you put that championship medallion around your daughter's neck, and I know you whispered something in her ear. You can't take that away from you. You're going to remember that for a long time.
Yeah, that was a very, very special moment as a father and as an athletic director, but I just told how proud I was of her, and she's worked hard to accomplish this, and that week was an up and down emotional week for us with some other family situations that we had, and I was just so proud of how she handled that whole week.
Out of this whole thing, year-long, the tournament and the championship, I got 2 words for you: tuition free. You know what I'm talking about, Dan?
I know what you're talking about, and that makes me pretty proud too.
It should. That wraps up this edition of First Person Again with Diana Kramer and Gary Jones from New Bremen, again sponsored by our new sponsors down the road here in Minster, the Precision Strip Company, with, as I said, a great record, a generations-long record of service to this community of New Bremen and Minster and Auglaize County as well. Compare them, a great place, as I said before, to either start or end your career. For our sponsors and our guests this week, again, we thank you for what you do in support of what we have on PressProsMagazine.com. See you again next time with another edition of First Person.